Tribulus terrestrix, Kayani Panex Caltrop, Jingo Bilaba. Sawa di noya mabubo swina. And when you are setting at 230 album, we are Bema now no more. And Mama what this from Kuma would drown us to me, Bajuma, and more energy, stamina, and vitality. And Fawuni Juma, and one is our Banumbi, but Bajuma Saum Reda. Tina Tat 230 Heba, a young conqueror. Power to the people. Me try 230. So I what feeling? How down me back? Kinaata 230 Herbal.
Yeah! Kinaata 230 Herbal is a full supplement for rejuvenation and vitality. And no sa ebra ofa sa edrowi. Oba wa fa yefunu. Ne all man e ba no fo. Ene akola ondi emfie duoche.
Mama kwa bari ba Ghana TV eso abraso sasa mfudwa ya bobwa no ye de ebe so mu kase bokwa so we eye kase bo too na me ka say Ghana ya live on YouTube, Facebook and na Instagram and ane de di kan ya wo hwe me abomodin se obe subscribe afin so fa wonsa etim don so se be ade de beto hobia no onsa ebetimi aka mama de sa obe like ama me no wa share ama fofron so etimi ashwebi edi amejeso da chihima ajoa nati nyumeku bi ena so ma sense kafe mu ema medicase boy ebe so mo glitter and glow skin care bebo esiesie honamani ama atoso ayefe ayekama Jena organic food nso ye nnuane papa abedwama nso a ebe boa ma apomodin ejina brand Kinaata Herbal nso ebe boa ma ene mmemme nyina 3D weni so na keka wo ebetenete sa nyumeko ho na so ma sene sika femu ema metumi edikase boy ebe som afi ebusiafo yenhye kasebo no ase enu adama mpani na nado dankwa ekufu ado eba yemfiefie mu ene yembe twetwe nkomo na nsem bia wadi tu dwa no ebi eni.
Good evening. Back in 2020, at the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, I started a regular conversation with you that came to be popularly known as fellow Ghanaians. It was a time of great fear of the unknown, and the entire world felt at risk. I came into your homes regularly to tell you what the experts were discovering about the virus and what we should do. Now that we have seen the worst of the COVID-19, I can tell you that there were moments during those times when I was distraught. There were moments when I was in despair about the apparent inadequacy of our health facilities. And there were moments when I wondered if the dire predictions made about dead bodies on our streets would truly happen. But I knew that I owed it to all of us, that as your president, I had to hold my nerve, show leadership, and take us out of the crisis. With your help and support, and the great mercies of the Almighty, we can say that we emerged from the ravages of the pandemic with one of the lowest mortality rates globally. In fact, Ghana's handling of the pandemic won universal acclaim. We could all see in real time the devastation that was being wreaked on economies during the pandemic. But I doubt that anyone imagined the extent of the damage. Our economy here in Ghana, like many, many others around the globe, was thrown into turmoil. When I said, at the height of the COVID pandemic, that we knew what to do to bring the economy back to life, but not how to bring people back to life, it was not said in jest. We had done it before, and we were on course to doing it again. Ghana's economy grew by a remarkable 5.4% in 2021, signifying a strong recovery from the 0.5% growth recorded the previous year in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, in the last quarter of 2021, our economy grew at 7%, only for the Russian invasion of Ukraine in the first quarter of this year to aggravate the effects of COVID-19 and plunge the global economy to even greater turmoil from which it has not yet recovered. The whole world has been taken aback by the speed with which inflation has eaten away people's incomes. Economies, big and small, have experienced over this year alone the highest rise in cost of living over a generation, the highest rise in government borrowing in over 50 years, the highest rise in inflation for 40 years, the steepest depreciation in their currencies to the US dollar over the last 30 years, the fastest peak in interest rates for over 20 years, and the greatest threat of unemployment in peacetime, with over 100 million people being pushed into extreme poverty. Between the end of 2019 and now, inflation in Ghana has increased by 5-fold, in Togo by 16-fold, by 11-fold in Senegal, and by 7-fold in Côte d'Ivoire. In truth, however, the fact that there are petrol queues in France does not make it more tolerable that the trottoir price from Kassoa to Circle has doubled in the past 1 year. Nor does it make it any more tolerable that the price of cooking oil goes up every other week. It is important to state mentioning the increases in prices worldwide is not meant to belittle the scope of suffering here, but simply to help us put things into some perspective and hopefully learn some useful lessons about how other people are coping. Fellow Ghanaians, this is why I'm back in your homes this evening, to ask for your support as we work together to get our economy back into good shape. In April, after the cabinet retreat of the first quarter, and recognizing the deteriorating macroeconomy, my government announced a 30% cut in budgeted discretionary expenditures and a 30% cut in salaries of the president, vice president, ministers, deputy ministers, MMDCs, and political office holders, amongst other measures. And since July, when the government took the difficult decision to go to the IMF to seek support, I've been speaking publicly at different fora on the subject of the economic difficulties we face, especially during my recent tours, so far, of 9 regions, and interacting directly with you, the Ghanaian people. It is also true that many of you have felt the need for me to come back to the fellow Ghanaians format that brings us all together. For us in Ghana, our reality is that our economy is in great difficulty. The budget drawn for the 2022 fiscal year, that is this year, has been thrown out of gear, disrupting our balance of payments and debt sustainability, and further exposing the structural weaknesses of our economy. We are in a crisis. I do not exaggerate when I say so. I cannot find an example in history when so many malevolent forces have come together at the same time. But, as we have shown in other circumstances, we should turn this crisis into an opportunity to resolve not just the short-term urgent problems, but the long-term structural problems that continue to bedevil our economy. I urge us all to see the decision to go to the International Monetary Fund in this light. We have gone to the fund to repair in the short term our public finances and restore our balance of payments, whilst we continue to work on the medium to long-term structural changes that are at the heart of our goal of constructing a resilient, robust Ghanaian economy and building a Ghana beyond aid. I'm able to report to you, my fellow Ghanaians, that the negotiations to secure a strong IMF program, which will support the implementation of our post-COVID-19 program for economic growth and additional funding to support the 2023 budget and development program, are at advanced stages and are going well. We're determined to secure these arrangements quickly to bring back confidence and relief to Ghanaians. We're working towards reaching a deal with the IMF by the end of the year. This will give further credence to the measures government is taking to stabilize and grow the economy, as well as shore up our currency. I know that the increasing cost of living is the number one concern for all of us. It is driven by fast escalating fuel prices at the pumps, which is caused by high crude oil prices on the world market and our depreciated currency. I know that this is putting intolerable pressure on families and businesses. I know that people are being driven to make choices they should not have to make. And I know that it has led to the devaluation of capital of traders and painfully accumulated savings. Furthermore, government is working to secure reliable and regular sources of affordable petroleum products for the Ghanaian market. It is expected that this arrangement, when successful, coupled with a stable currency, will halt the escalation of fuel prices and bring relief to us all. I hear from the market queens also that another factor fueling the high prices is the high margins that some traders are slapping on goods for fear of future higher costs. I say to our traders, we are all in this together. Please, let us be measured in the margins we seek. I have great respect and admiration for the ingenuity and hard work of our traders, especially those that take on the distribution of foodstuffs around the country. And I would hesitate to join in calling them names. I do make a heartfelt appeal that we all keep an eye out for the greater good and not try to make the utmost profits out of the current difficulties. In language that every market woman and indeed every trader in our country understands, let me say that the basic problem we face is that we're not making as much money as we need to spend. And what little money we do make is going to pay for the debts we have contracted to fund the development projects we must have. Not enough of us are paying our taxes. Not enough of us are producing to generate the revenues that we need. Nevertheless, my ambitions for Ghana remain high. All our children should be educated and trained with skills that will enable us be competitive in the world. We need to close rapidly the infrastructure gap. We need to build a world-class healthcare system. And we need to build confidence in ourselves to make ours the happy and prosperous place it deserves to be. I believe we can and we will find the means to achieve these goals, even if the immediate measures we have to take are painful. At the just-ended cabinet retreat at Peduasi Lodge, my government agreed on the framework for the post-COVID-19 program for economic growth and the IMF support for its implementation, as well as the work being done by the Ministry of Finance in preparation for the 2023 budget. At the retreat, we took some firm decisions that should put us on the path that will take our nation out of the current economic difficulties. Let me try and give you an outline of the main decisions without getting into the technical language that baffles many of us. To restore and sustain debt sustainability, we plan to reduce our total public debt to GDP ratio to some 55% in present value terms by 2028, with the servicing of our external debt pegged at not more than 18% of our annual revenue also by 2028. We're committed to improving the revenue collection effort from the current tax revenue to GDP ratio of 13% to between 18 and 20% to be competitive with our peers in the West Africa region. The Ghana Revenue Authority is rolling out an extensive set of measures to support the enhanced revenue mobilization. All of us must do our patriotic duty and support the GRA in this exercise. We're aiming to restore and sustain macroeconomic stability within the next 3 to 6 years, with a focus on ensuring debt sustainability to promote durable and inclusive growth while protecting the poor. We've decided to review the reforms in the energy sector, the capping of statutory funds, implementation of the Exemptions Act, and a new property rate regime. We've also decided to continue with the policy of 30% cut in the salaries of political office holders, including the President, the Vice President, ministers, deputy ministers, MMDCs, and SOE appointees in 2023, just as we will continue with the 30% cut in discretionary expenditures of ministries, departments, and agencies. My fellow Ghanaians, the success of our efforts at diversifying the structure of the Ghanaian economy from an import-based one to a value-added exporting one is what will, in the long term, help strengthen our economy. We're making some progress with the 1D, 1F, but our current situation requires that we take some more stringent measures to discourage the importation of goods that we can and do produce here. To this end, we will review the standards required for imports into the country. We will prioritize the imports, as well as review the management of our foreign exchange reserves in relation to imports of products such as rice, poultry, vegetable oil, toothpicks, pasta, fruit juice, bottled water, and ceramic tiles, and others, which with intensified government support and that of the banking sector, can be manufactured and produced in sufficient quantities in Ghana. Government will in May 2023, that is 6 months from now, review the situation. We must, as a matter of urgent national security, reduce our dependence on imported goods, and enhance our self-reliance, as demanded by our overarching goal of creating a Ghana beyond aid. Much as we believe in free trade, we must work to ensure that the majority of goods in our shops and marketplaces are those we produce and grow here in Ghana. That is why we have to support our farmers and domestic industries, including those created under the 1D1F initiative, to help reduce our dependence on imports and allow us the opportunity to export more and more of our products and guarantee a stable currency that will present a high level of predictability for citizens and the business community. Exports, not imports, must be our mantra. Accra, after all, hosts the headquarters of the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Fellow Ghanaians, as the French would say, l'argent n'aime pas le bruit. To wit, money does not like noise. Sika mpe dede. Where there's chaos, where there's noise, where there's unrest, you will not find money. If you talk down your money, it will go down. If you allow an unidentifiable person to talk down your money, it will go down. The recent turbulence on the financial markets was caused by low inflows of foreign exchange and was made worse in the last 2 to 3 weeks, in particular, by the activities of speculators and the black market. An anonymous 2-minute audio message on a WhatsApp platform predicting a so-called haircut on government bonds sent all of us into banks and forex bureaus to dump our CDs, and before we knew it, the CD had depreciated even further. All of us can play a part in helping to strengthen the CD by having confidence in the currency and avoiding speculation. Let us keep our CD as the good store of value it is. To those who make it a habit of publishing falsehoods which result in panic in the system, I say to them that the relevant state agencies will act against such persons. Indeed, some steps have been taken to restore order in the foreign exchange markets, and we're already beginning to see some calm returning. We will not relent until order is completely restored. The following actions have been taken thus far. 1. Enhanced supervisory action by the Bank of Ghana in the Forex Bureau markets and the black market to flush out illegal operators, as well as ensuring that those permitted to operate legally abide by the market rules. Already, some Forex bureaus have had their licenses revoked, and this exercise will continue until complete order is restored in the sector. 2. Fresh inflows of dollars are providing liquidity to the foreign exchange market and addressing the pipeline demand. 3. The Bank of Ghana has given its full commitment to the commercial banks to provide liquidity to ensure the wheels of the economy continue to run in a stabilized manner till the IMF program kicks in and the financing assurances expected from other partners also come in. 4. Government is working with the Bank of Ghana and the oil producing and mining companies to introduce a new legal and regulatory framework to ensure that all foreign exchange and from operations in Ghana are initially paid to banks domiciled in Ghana to help boost the domestic foreign exchange market. And 5, the Bank of Ghana will continue and enhance its gold purchase program. I'm confident that these immediate measures, designed to change the structure of our balance of payment flows, sanitize the foreign exchange market to ensure that the banks and Forex Bureau operate along international best practices, together with strengthened supervision, will go a long way to sanitize our foreign exchange market and make it more resilient against external vulnerabilities going forward. Over the course of this week, I've had several fruitful engagements with the Trades Union Congress and Organized Labor, the Ghana Employers Association, the Association of Ghana Industries, the Ghana Association of Banks, the Private Enterprise Federation, the Association of Forex Bureau Operators, the Association of Market Queens and Women, all of whom represent important stakeholders of the Ghanaian economy. They express their concerns and propose solutions on how best to solve our problems. I've been encouraged by the enthusiasm of these interest groups to help government to address these challenges, and I intend to continue these engagements with other groups. I also want to assure all Ghanaians that no individual or institutional investor, including pension funds, in government treasury bills or instruments, will lose their money as a result of our ongoing IMF negotiations. There will be no haircuts. So I urge all of you to ignore the false rumors. Just as in the banking sector cleanup, government ensured that the 4.6 million depositors affected by the exercise did not lose their deposits. And you minim sɛ asetena mu ayɛ den. Nanso mo bi ampa aba. Mo kɔ so nyɛ gyidie wɔ aban no mu. Nhyehyɛeɛ a ɛtumi ma free SHS, any one district, one factory, ɛbaa mu no. Nhyehyɛeɛ a ɛboa ma yɛtumi pam corona yareɛ no free ɔman no mu. Saa nso na maban ɛtoto nneɛma yie. Saa mmerɛ ɛma ahotɔ aba ɔman mu. Na minim sɛ gyidie no ɛwɔ me mu no ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛko no ɛyɛ Onyankopɔn ne ko. Ayɛmɛ lɛaka ni bi ewa si nyɛ ka hyɛgbe ye nyɛ ya no ni nyɛ na hemo ke yeli ake gbejiano to ni hani free SHS bamiye gbejiano to ni hani this one district one factory bamiye gbejiano to ni hani wonye wo hwe corona hela keshi wo mana miye na kano ni miam lalo bato gbejiano to koni hijole abami ejake miye hemo ke yeli ake ta nyumotani. My government has always been cognizant of the importance of implementing policies and social interventions to relieve Ghanaians of hardships. It is for this reason that over the first 5 years in office, the government reduced electricity tariffs cumulatively by 10.9%. We provided free water and electricity, as well as reduced tariffs for the entire population during a whole year of the COVID-19 pandemic. We increased the share of the District Assembly's Common Fund to persons with disabilities by 50%. We exempted Kayaye from market tolls. We expanded the LEAP by 150,000 beneficiaries. We expanded school feeding from 1.6 million children to 2.1 million children. We restored teacher and nursing training allowances. We absorbed the cost of BC and WACC exam registrations for parents. No guarantor is now required to obtain student loans. The Ghana card is sufficient. And we have implemented free TVET, as well as free senior high school education. It is obvious, fellow Ghanaians, that you have a government that cares. We are determined to restore stability to the economy and provide relief. Well, all of us are in this together and asking for your support to rescue Ghana from the throes of this economic crisis. I have total confidence on our ability to work our way out of our current difficulties. We are not afraid of hard work. We will triumph, as we have triumphed many times before. Let us unite and rally around our republic, its institutions and its democratic values, and insist that under God we will emerge victorious from our current difficulties. For this too shall pass, as the battle is the Lord's. I'll be coming regularly to keep you updated about the measures your government is making to move our country forward and tackle our economic challenges. God bless us all and our homeland Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you.
Ote mampeni kasa ni mu ya o kase laja ne pele bue na cheze sika mpedede kura nti Ghana fo dede na mu ye no ena fry to boa ye din ena webu eno ena ama dollar no sese kwa na ekoso se Ghana fo mu nye di ukodwom na ko hu se entozo bo okosoro oye bo okosoro manke mbo okosoro na wa ye din uwe sika no wa to uni bi nso akofie sana mampeni pa kire o se dede no address dede no ena ama dollar no dwane a yentimi Antonia me dede no na ama sese yesika sama titi apanzan enye kenuforiata na ibibia dede no Ghana for pekasa dodo ma beni si Ghana for pekasa dodo na abra mampeni di nsem wei ebetu dwa no Ghana for bi nso ekire wo madwen say.
To be very honest, no, he didn't. Why would I say so? So, what we're expecting from Nanado's speech was a speech of reassurance. Ghanaians were expecting him to give us a speech that would make us feel happier. Russia-Ukraine war, COVID, these are conversations we've had everywhere. We hear it every single day happening. Now the question is, what are we supposed to see? You still get us hearing blames of we are not paying taxes. Then the question is, what happened to e-levy? You hear him telling us about inflation rates. What exactly are the kind of differences we're expecting to see? We didn't get any of that from the speech yesterday. For me, I felt like it was a below-par speech for the president, and it's not something we were supposed to see. Why would I say such a thing? Notice fully well that after the speech, it didn't calm anybody down. People are angry this morning. When I even entered the Trotsky to Tech Junction, everybody in the car was angry. The only big thing you hear is Sika Mpedede. So what do you get from the Sika Mpedede? Is it that we are the ones making the noise, or the money is the one making the noise? We think we need more clarity, because most of the things are like, they are just there. We are not getting the kind of impact we have it to have. So we think you should have a different view for what he's going to say, because if this is what we're expecting to see, then I don't think it's making any difference. People are still angry. Clearly, you can even see all the drivers and everybody around are still fuming around. So I don't think the speech was one that actually made any difference for me.
So what's actually your expectation? What were you expecting? Some people were expecting him to accept, be remorseful and accept that he did not manage the economy as he promised us. In fact, when he was coming to government, he said 18 months he's going to transform Ghana. But clearly, 6 months down the line, we've not seen anything. What were you expecting?
Yeah, so my expectations was a certain level of responsibility. And I think most of the governments are taking responsibility. In UK, for example, the Prime Minister, who even got sacked after 40 days plus in power, says that she knew that they didn't manage it well. So what did we expect? We were expecting him to say, oh, we did this wrong. Okay, we assumed that when we implemented e-levy, we'll get a certain amount of money. Or we assumed that when we implemented this or cut down this, we'll get that. But nothing of that sort happened. We still got blame for Putin, who was in Russia, and also we got blame. And it's not that we are saying it is wrong. It's just that what is it supposed to change? So we hear different forms of changes will happen, that is going to cut down expenditure by 30%. That's with regards to those in government and all those things. And okay, yeah, the question is, where will all those monies go to? How are we sure that these things are going to have a certain level of change? Because for me, where I lost trust in government essentially was earlier this year with e-levy. We expected a certain level of change to happen within the country when he said, oh, when we implement e-levy, everything will change. And I think I totally disagree with Mr. President when he says that we are not paying tax. taxes. For God's sake, now people aggressively still use mobile money. Where are all this money is going to? So the thing is, that whole change to be like that speech that we're expecting from him to change the aura, give us assurance, change the environment, nothing. Trending on Twitter, nobody is happy. Even people who are part of the party didn't get that. But one important sad part of the speech which just came to mind was the fact that nothing about the finance minister was spoken about, and that itself is wrong. Because imagine the majority caucus in parliament saying they want finance minister out, and we didn't get anything of that sort. I think it's something the president has to address because it's an issue that has to be sorted out.
Oh, if you so to me and Sabe Ghana pa, if you say your fuel market all can want MCC last time in the next 3 days going up there when Kokoto for you show diesel car. We talk for 18.99 pesos in Ghana as a per liter. Now if you say the consumer of it, no maybe I'm one more here to Prime Union Station. Me load free here kwa Sokoro Mampong. Now me load pay from her to Mampong. Now me cover 1 liter me end and so me load where my load is taking me 14 cities. Chidema wants me make loss. Last week Saturday me here my pump around 3:30. Now new time I was me pump but me nam say me fuel na ya me consume the day no. Na boro sa my fuel ne sa but me just come nya ya na nso. Ma me here dey e pon KOFI. Tis obet man ya filling station bi ona so obet mama prices na akofom kakra na ye nso ye ho ba hare ya nka me fi say ke bebo ye nsem aye dey ama na nyuma pa oye.
Senra mo antia. Nana no se dey. L'argent n'est pas de bouée. C'est scam PDD. Na mo kasa ba bébé adola na gudu mu de l'argent n'est pas de bouée. Kamu ko do mi no come on what one guy say yes guy that be why di utu di mo wanza obaga ya ma say die. Nebuso. I saw them kamu ko amontonyo. L'argent n'est pas de bouée na. When say offer bon I must say then. If you come here, you say men kasa bien because l'argent n'est pas de bouée. L'argent n'est pas de bouée. Mo de ka bi bia muntie. Na banchi ni o. Ana force me try you. Me ko ya no de nuancie. Na do ma me ya dey. Mo yesa ne bouée ni ti l'argent ne ko. L'argent n'est pas de bouée. Na do na ka mo sisika mpedede. Mo fa mo ne bouée ne kama ntum ni empeska. Am ho de
ana chese wanka sa wote die ko na ana chese yetim yejina baby yejina na zo de bia kai wo kodwom akai se mampani se dede no adroso dodo l'argent n'est pas le bouée na chese sika mpedede nti mota ye dede na yesika sam na beje nsam nti Ghana fo ya munja kasa Ghana fo ya pekasa dodo munja kasa no kwada ne amaboade ya yedi fa se odem ne fam wunti minto awa be fia be no musua da ware yaze aha me da se ebusuafo ha na brema kwan ma ye de kase ebo no ebesi edi ameje so da chehema ajoa nati asedan kase nkoma mi producer wojina musa cameraman my son afensu William nso assistant director nyume ko bi ena so ma cinema medical se boy ebesom glitter and glow skin ke be mo glitter ne wa glow aye kama wasa kwa nso afensu Ginel organic foods nuane papa be boa wapomodin be CP ebesita diabetes unya bi hypertension unya mesi wo benyini ache wo benya 140 years enso na utimi keka ho utimi ye bibia Ginel organic foods ene betimi eyisa enkonya no Kinaata teba nso mesi oba wo ho na wonukun wo ho bemma ne moribu a wo pan bemma wo ye chisel chese bibia ni wa obebisa na obema o de bia miniska ade ba ko pe na obetimi e de age check obetimi de age cars obetimi de age adan e wo ne ho ye Kinaata teba wo de mama de asa obesiesi ahemfi ho na ho aye kama ho ye kama onu awre ho ade obeka ne say adwoa de upe bia name it and I will do it for you de upe bia kana me yama ware azie aha Kinaata teba oyo be man so ampa chokwe desi ni tirase enkwagye enim gwase esanse wiasim want utsna uma ya de tsna wakono de so wanje wani we wiasimu na wu konso na nyankopon kopam wa ebeye yapa enu nti bomodin se obe wasa usisimu obe wasa wuridie mu na wokoda ache so wa ko nyankopon ani onyam wate ase ni nyina Kinaata teba ebetu yaje biase se yi wakra sa wu ko akra na ubedu adenta na bus stop ni wegina de emwa basa de chekura no ba no wejada ni buafu wate ase momodin sa won sabeka Kinaata teba ebe boa wosa kwana so I was a Hannah Brahma, Quama Medicasia Bono, ABC, Macram.
Surprise! Congratulations, madam. I'm looking forward for a good business deal.
It's my pleasure.
Hey, and let you be busy. Ain't you wanting a miku epia on me?
Excuse me, madam. I am a business partner. Mammy can be being show. Kinaata Venicare. So we use what? A CSC ho, Emma Hoya Kama, Emma Hoya obey moi. Now, try it.
Thank you. Kinaata Venicare.
Kinaata Venicare is an oral tonic for maintaining vaginal hygiene. Not recommended for children below 12 years. Pregnant or lactating mothers should consult a doctor.